Hello, my fellow Americans. One wants to tackle racism every day. With that in mind, do we not accomplish that feat? It's not possible for just one race to end all racism, and that's a fact. Where did we go wrong so far as to hate each other's person color? Where did we go wrong to hate one's religion as well? We all have hate in our hearts, no matter the size. You could hate things and specific belief systems without even allowing any further education or rational thinking to change your mind or your perspective, however you look at it. We are all seeing this in our country as I write this, as I speak this to you. We are on the brink of a civil war, but we are also on a brink of fighting through the walls of hatred and racism as well. Someone who I can't even remember told me that God puts up walls to break through them and further your path. I see that in the system we have currently. I see that in day-to-day life, whether it be work-related or just trying to balance our lives. We constantly go through hurdles for things that will make us richer or even more comfortable in the long run. We see this from farming crops to space exploration. So why can't we do this with racism? Bear with me as a straight white male who definitely has a difficult time, but that's not an excuse for my rationality. But not being able to relate to any of people of color still. White privilege is real, yes. That's not what we're discussing right now. We will discuss that later. It's not without lack of trying to learn any of their hardships, but within the realm of not knowing or experiencing their strives firsthand. And this is okay. I know that may have some controversy with its own, definition. I cannot, as a white man, even bear the reality of being a white female. I don't know how to be that, let alone people of color in any orientation or gender. This is because I'm not in their shoes. This is because I didn't experience the same exact and precise living and financial situations on the top of the many aspects of being a whole different race. Now, here's the hard part as well. They cannot picture themselves in our shoes as much as bullies won't picture themselves in the shoes of the person they're bullying, or the person getting bullied is putting themselves in the shoes of the bully. Now, stay with me on this train of thinking as we explore the changes we need to make as a country and as one people. As stated, we cannot put ourselves in another class of people or color. We can't put ourselves in their shoes, and not even orientation. It's impossible. We like to think the more we learn about another culture, the more we'll be able to find ourselves in their shoes and learn how to come closer together. Closer is always better, but we can only learn. As we learn more and more, people will build empathetic thought processes to help ourselves better understand their daily lives. But saying things like, I understand what you're going through, is the most self-centered statement used. Besides saying, I have a black friend, I can talk about this or that. Don't be these people. Please do not be these people. Say things like, I cannot understand what you were going through, but I'm always here to help you. And I'm here to understand. See the difference with adding a few words into the sentence? Even changing the latter of the poor statements would be hard enough. Let's go ahead and try. Yeah, my buddy Lawrence, he was telling me the struggles he had to go through, and I have no words to describe his feelings, as I haven't experienced these situations, his own situations. Yes, these are vague statements, but to this day, the poorly spoken statements are still being used. We see it nearly every day. Oh, I got a black friend, I can talk about this. No, it doesn't work like that. Hatred has always stemmed from that, no. But so does fear. There are fruits from the same tree and go hand in hand. We see this when an ignorant to culture white woman crosses a street just to avoid a friendly plumber or electrician or whatever he is that happens to be of color. And he's coming towards her on the same side of the street. So she crosses. How do you think the plumber would feel? I'd be hurt. I'd feel really hurt if someone avoided me just because of the way I look. Hurt isn't even a proper word for this, though. We have no words currently for this feeling. That I know of, at least. This feeling will then cause this plumber to possibly change his whole viewpoint. Focusing on hating all white women instead of just that one. Only if it happens to him enough. That first one, you get a slide sometimes, because that's just one person. And so on and so on forth. This runs downhill until a white woman is also hating another black man due to his experience with someone that has hatred towards a party. This just keeps going on and on and on. And because one woman was scared, she didn't have insight to a particular culture. Do you see now how this chain affects millions? People of color aren't to be blamed in this scenario, but nor are white people. And that's probably the hardest pill to swallow there. It's not just one people. If we look at the chain, every individual person is at fault for letting their hatred spread to the next unsuspecting victim. And it has a snowball effect 10 times over, as it doesn't truly just spread like an STD, one person to one person because they were, commingling. It spreads like the coronavirus outbreak and pandemic that we are currently watching unfold. It goes in waves, affecting people in its path. We are the virus mutating our viewpoints based on experiences in our own lives and lack of insight into others. Our vaccination or cure for this racial pandemic is an empathetic and methodical and mathematical even viewpoint. I personally would love to learn every possible culture, every number of culture I can, and understand it better. I mean, look at what 9/11 did to our country initially. I know nobody likes talking about this. A specific group of the Muslim community that was also of Eastern descent that hated America because of their lack of knowledge into our actual culture crashed planes into our American towers. Now let that sink in, because I know nobody likes talking about this, but we should hate not learning from this instead of hating a specific race. People fear Muslims, but they are just people working day-to-day lives just like you, with the exception of constantly wondering if people are judging them and hating every person, even though they may, with the exception of sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. Once again, the chain will continue though. Still, after all these years, most people are scared, still to this day, of Muslims just randomly wanting to bomb us. That's what they think. Now, let's remove color, religion, and everything for one moment and talk about two people. Two people. Okay? Person one saw person two walking down the street, saw person two and thought they were frightening to them. Dude had never seen a person that looked like they do. Rather than confronting the fear and figuring out they are nice, they're probably really good people, they cross the street and snare at this differential humanoid figure. While person two is thinking, why does this person look scared? I didn't do anything. Did they hate my looks? Do they think I'll hurt them? I wouldn't hurt them. Then this train of thought turns for the worse, person to person to person. Now say there's person three, just like person one. Person three does the same as person one and stares and snarls. Person two now hates that one person, that one type of person, though. Remember, there's no color, there's no racial, there's no nothing. It's just based on looks. Maybe they have different eyebrows, for instance. But this does happen every day. Probably millions, to be fair. Now, just think of all the good we can do by simply learning a bit about each culture in our daily lives. Commingling is definitely a step forward, but it's more like a scoop in the right direction. If we want to run to the finish line with smiles and open arms, we can. We need to learn from our past mistakes, but not one person can make a difference. We need herd immunity in this context, as we need everything moving forward, and everyone moving forward. Find a redneck today, for instance, if you happen to be the opposite, and give them a cup of coffee or a hug. Remember, they're scared of you, most likely. I'm talking about a real racist person is scared of you, most likely, and they don't understand you. I'm not saying that's your burden to make them understand. But I've seen it so many times that these racist people end up starting to talk to other races, other cultures, and actually going against the racist. All of them. I've seen it. Hell, even people I've met, I've had to just tell, hey, please don't use that. I'm sure that's going to hurt somebody. What if that was you that they were talking about? Oh, I'd be fucking pissed. Right. Okay. Stop. It's called being empathetic. Now, I'm just saying, find someone completely different than yourself in every color, shape, form, orientation, gender, whatever makes you fully different, so you can find that you have more in common than you ever thought possible. As that's another human right in front of you with the same parts, same everything, fully developed, right? Now, thank you. I definitely would like to hear what you all think about my analogies. And if you don't understand already, learn from where I'm coming from. Remember, I'm a white guy. I don't understand yours. If you're a black woman, I don't understand. So please tell me, why did I do something wrong? Is there something I'm not learning? Remember, knowledge is power, everybody. I'd rather learn from the people than not get an understanding of why they think I'm in the wrong. I'm open to all changes that you have to offer and make me a better person, and so should you. Not saying I'm right. I don't know if I'm right. This is from my standpoint, my personal standpoint. I can't view from the other side of the street, but I can look at your view and try to understand what you're looking at. So please do the same, but please tell me more and help me learn what I can do better as a person, period. Thank you.